Hello friends, welcome to Lukman IS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 12th June 2021. Let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles for mains purpose and for prelims purpose we have segregated them. Let us take overview of all these articles first. Yes, monsoon malady, editorial on page number 6. It is having the context of recent collapse of one old building in Mumbai city and resulting into deaths of 11 people because of severe monsoon rainfall that is happening in the coastal areas of Maharashtra, especially Mumbai city. So the article is talking from disaster management perspective, the need of repairing and rehabilitation of all these old buildings. This is important from disaster management GS3 paper. Now, refocused vaccination campaigns are possible. The context of the article is to ensure equity and justice in vaccination process and how to ensure that equity and justice by vaccinating the most vulnerable groups of society. This is important GS2 paper, governance, social justice and COVID-19 aspects. So, on page number 6 editorial page, this is the article. Then as a follow up to, let's say, international relations or India and neighborhood relations, China Sri Lanka Friendship Hospital open. So yes, from time to time there are questions being asked in mains examination how China is increasing its presence in India's neighborhood. So this is important. As a follow up, you need to know about this friendship hospital that is funded by China here. Okay. Then specifically prelims related development, online module to map out of the school kids. So at elementary level as well as those from 16 to 18 years also, 14 to 18 years also, right. So the particular article mentions about this particular module being developed under Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. So what is this particular scheme? Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, government schemes, they are the questions, one or two questions always asked from the government schemes in prelims examination. So what is this Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan? We have to understand some basics about this scheme. Then Bru refugees rehabilitation in Tripura hits green panel hurdle. So NGT is going to look into the claims that Bru refugees are being rehabilitated in the forest area in the Tripura. So again, Bru refugees in last 1 year many times on page number 5 northeast page, Bru refugees from time to time it has been news. So who are these people, what happened in the background, we need to understand the past also. So this is important from geography and culture perspective. Lastly, some COVID-19 related developments at national and international stage and practice prelims MCQs that we are solving on daily basis from today's current affairs. Yes, let us go into details. Monsoon malady. So collapse of building, old building on another building that happened in Mumbai, killing 11 people. So sorry, 22 people are dead here. So basically we have to understand the disaster management perspective. There is going to be increased rainfall, especially from the monsoon and in the western coast area, and when these metropolitan cities wherein population density is very high and these buildings which are older buildings vulnerable for when collapse when there is huge rainfall, right. So geographical location of Mumbai makes it vulnerable. The geographical location, western coast of India, which receives around we can say 200 to 250 centimeter of rainfall annually through orographic rainfall. Right. Basically orographic rainfall happens in Western Ghat we can say, not Mumbai directly, but yes, when these moisture carrying winds flowing over the oceans and obstructed by the we can say land areas, then there is orographic rainfall, or in general you need to understand that there is a kind of climatic conditions created on the western coast of India which leads to huge rainfall because of this monsoon. Now we know that if we are talking about map, let me show on the map here like this. Suppose this is Indian Peninsula, not up to the scale, but yes, surely important. There are the monsoon winds. Suppose this is equator, this is equator. These monsoon winds are coming like this as a trade winds, and after crossing the equator they change the direction because of Coriolis force. Now the monsoon winds are bifurcated into two branches. One branch is moving like this, another branch goes like this towards northeast India. So this is Arabian Sea branch, which gives huge rainfall on the western coast of India, be it Konkan coast, Malabar coast, right, and the another branch directly hits to the, we can say, northeast India, giving huge rainfall in Meghalaya and other such states of India, right. So that's why you need to remember the high rainfall regions of India because of these two monsoon branches. Fine. So geographical location. Now there is further increase in temperatures of Arabian Sea, and we are seeing the increase in cyclonic activities, in Arabian Sea. Along with that, because of higher temperatures, there will be more and more moisture being carried by the monsoon winds, and yes, that will be deposited through condensation and precipitation on the land along the western coast, and that's why more and more rainfall is going to happen because of these reasons in future, right. So that's why Mumbai needs to prepare for itself for various types of disasters. First, cyclones. Second, urban floods or flash floods, we can say. Okay, intense rainfall within short amount of time generally leads to this urban floods. Then there is, let's say, collapse of buildings because of high rainfall. What happens is this moisture water seeps into the old buildings and weakens its strength, right. So that's why they collapse generally during monsoon time period, and these kinds of things are happening more and more every year in western coast area. Last year in Malad, such building collapsed, killing many people. Now in Mumbai also every year such collapse of building happens, right. So Mumbai needs to prepare for such kind of disasters in future in advance. Now what are the efforts by Maharashtra Housing and Area Development Authority and its effectiveness? So already the efforts are going on for identification and rehabilitation of severely vulnerable buildings by this authority. Okay, so many such structures have been identified, and people, around 700 people have been asked to relocate temporarily unless and until such buildings are rebuilt in that area. However, there is some kind of reluctance on behalf of people. Why? Because whatever the housing alternatives that are provided to these people, they are far away from the educational institutions for their children and even the working sites. Therefore, the people are reluctant to leave these old buildings from Mumbai. So this is, let's say, we can say, proving less effective, and that's why such kind of instances are happening more and more. Now what should be the way forward? Way forward in such cases, first thing, you need to understand the repair, retrofitting. Use these words in your answer: retrofitting of old buildings. Second, those who cannot, let's say, be repaired, very old buildings which cannot be repaired, they should be rebuilt. Okay, they should be rebuilt. Third aspect, you need to understand that the drainage. So urban drainage, we have seen in 2005 floods, urban floods in Mumbai, how it happened because of lack of appropriate drainage system and blockage by over construction on the banks of the rivers, especially we can say Mithi rivers. Now the government has undertaken the project to remove all those constructions and ensure that Mithi river flows according to the drainage pattern, natural drainage pattern, so that whatever the rainfall that is happening, that goes into the ocean. However, because of COVID-19 pandemic, this is delayed now. When this will happen, this is going to be a very helpful and new, we can say, urban water bodies required to be prepared, right? So these will act as a shock absorbers. So be it wetlands or we can say lakes, they should be renovated, or they should be the new urban wetlands, water bodies, they should be prepared for acting as a shock absorber here, right? So this should be the way forward. So drainage system should be appropriate for this purpose. The urban bodies, they have more work here. Along with that, the streams which are flowing through Mumbai, they should be rejuvenated. Use this word, rejuvenated, right? So Mithi river, you should give the example of Mumbai. Fine. Okay, so what kind of question we can expect here? As the global warming and climate change is likely to increase rainfall intensity along the western coast of India, Mumbai city needs disaster preparedness. Comment, right? So earlier we talked about what kind of disasters that are happening. You can give the references of urban floods, collapse of buildings, cyclone Tatai. Recently cyclone Tatai, how it hit the western coast of India, right? So many states received huge rainfall because of cyclone Tatai and destruction of older buildings also along the coast. So you can provide the way forward also here like this. Fine. Moving on. Refocused vaccination campaigns are possible. So the context of the article, it is talking about ensuring equity and justice in vaccination. When we talk about equity and justice, we are talking here social justice. Vulnerable groups in our society, they are not having the equal access to the vaccination, and therefore the focus should be on priority groups or vulnerable section. Let us try to understand prioritizing vulnerable groups. Which are these groups? Older adults. Surely the octogenarians and those above 70 and 80 years of age, they are facing some obstacles. Okay, what are these obstacles? First thing, they are alone, therefore they are not able to go to the vaccination centers by themselves. Second thing you need to understand is that the appropriate transport is not available whenever there is lockdown. Third thing you need to understand, there is fear factor of infection because of crowding at vaccination centers. There is fear factor. People are going to the vaccination camps, they are coming back without getting vaccines. Why? Because fear of infection. One such example is given in this article in the introduction itself, right? So these are obstacles and how they need to be overcome. So older adults, vaccination door to door campaign, they should be provided vaccine at home, right? Because they will not be able to have appropriate transport, or we can say that there is no, so many times the younger population is not living with those older people. So all these things are important, and therefore door to door vaccination is important for older adults. They are also vulnerable. Why? Because their immune system is weak. They are also facing such comorbidities because of age factor. Many organs of the body are not working properly. Therefore this acts as a This increases the vulnerability of infection. Now, poor people. So, for this purpose, the writer is providing a very good model of vaccination based on equity, that is Chhattisgarh, by the Chhattisgarh government. So, this uses ration cards to identify the vulnerable population, poor people. So, those who are having the ration cards, generally they are poor people, as we can assume that thing, and therefore those who are having ration cards, they are prioritized in Chhattisgarh by the Chhattisgarh government for vaccination purpose. Now, this is good idea because poor people are not able to afford these vaccines in the private hospitals at such higher cost. Along with that, they do not have internet supply, smartphones, right. So, what happens is they are not able to register on the vaccination CoWIN website also, right. So, all these affects the equitable access to the vaccines, and therefore such ration cards or other identification methods should be also used. Now, after this, the next vaccination of vulnerable group, priority group, is religious minorities. Yes, we can understand that the religious minorities in the country, especially they are living in some concentrated areas of some of the states, those districts, they do not have the avenues, resources, and to some extent there is some kind of misinformation. Vaccine hesitancy is created in the minorities some of the minorities in the country, and lower caste people also, rural areas, living in the rural areas also. For them, the priority should be identified. For example, those districts having the higher population of the minorities, religious minorities, that can be targeted, and accordingly the vaccination can be done. So, to remove the vaccine hesitancy, there should be some IEC campaign launched by the administration, information, education, communication. So, through this, the persuasion for the vaccination can be done, and the effective, we can say, camps can be established in those localities, and the vaccines can be made accessible. Then, socially disadvantaged caste, especially if we are talking about the lower caste people, both living in urban and rural areas. Urban and rural areas, they do not have access to the vaccines, they have high level of vaccine hesitancy, they consider that this disease is for rich people. Even let me tell you the experience that I had recently in one auto rickshaw. The auto rickshaw driver was saying that, sir, this disease is for rich people, they do not have the immunity system, we go for work every day, we have immune system, we do not need vaccination, right. Such kind of, let us say, presumptions they are having, and to some extent this is affecting the overall, let us say, control of this pandemic by the administration. So, for that purpose, what we need is some kind of, let us say, again IEC campaign is important. Along with this, free of cost vaccines and those camps. For example, Delhi government has identified polling booth as vaccine camps. This ensures the access to the vaccines. At present, what is happening, there are very less number of vaccination centers in the country, and the people are not able to go to that particular center and get vaccinated. Along with that, most of the vaccination centers are located in urban areas. So, yes, surely those living in rural areas, they are not receiving this. Now, those people, Adivasi communities, those living in remote areas, for them, what we need to understand or take input here, especially those in rural areas. Here, first thing, the use of ASHA workers and auxiliary nurse midwives, ANMs, their experience in polio vaccination and neonatal vaccination is or can be used for this COVID-19 vaccination. Okay, so in rural areas, remote areas, and Adivasi communities, such kind of already established experience can be used. And lastly, women, the writer is providing that there should be dedicated women days for vaccination, women only days, sorry, women only days for vaccination. This gives some kind of priority and importance to the women being the one of the vulnerable group for infection. So for that matter, dedicated women only days can be in, let's say there in the vaccination policy, and this will ensure more and more vaccination for the women. At present, let me tell you what is happening is, the men in the country are going out for the work and most of the women are living at home, and that's why there is some kind of already patriarchal mindset attitude we have in our society, and there is some kind of social norm being established here that men should be first vaccinated. They are going outside, there is more possibility of infection to them, but when they are infected and then they are coming home, women are already working at home, they will be also infected. So why such inequity in vaccination? Women should be also vaccinated, they are actually the building blocks of our economy. So for that matter, they should be also vaccinated, there should not be such inequity in vaccination purpose. Fine. Okay, so as a social justice aspect, ensuring equity in the vaccination, we are expecting such question in GS2 paper. Along with that, in essay paper, we have to bring this aspect whenever we are talking about COVID-19 and vaccination. Next, China Sri Lanka Friendship Hospital opened. So again, Chinese investment in our neighboring countries increasing, especially in infrastructure building. So such grants are given by China. This one $60 million grant by China to build China Sri Lanka Friendship Hospital in Polonnaruwa in north central province of Sri Lanka. This specializes in treating kidney ailments. Basically, this region is infamous for kidney disease, especially among the farmers in that region. Okay, so this is the grant provided. Earlier, China had provided many such grant for infrastructure building and public places, such as well-known Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference Hall in Colombo, that Beijing gifted in 1970s. Then Nelam Pokuna Mahinda Rajpaksha Theatre, that China funded during former President Mahinda Rajpaksha's time in office. Now, India's grant assistance to Sri Lanka totals about $570 million. You need to use such kind of facts in your answer in GS2 paper IR section. You can use as a recent example of Chinese grant and infrastructure funded by China in Sri Lanka. Okay, so this is as a follow-up in IR, international relations, India and neighborhood. Now, next, online module to map out of the school grades. So because of COVID-19 pandemic in last 1 year, many schools dropped out of school in elementary education, higher education, secondary education also, secondary school and higher secondary school education. So for that purpose, the mapping module, the module to map out of school children and connect them to mainstream education through special training centers under Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Okay, special training centers will be established under, and financing will be provided under Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Along with that, for out of children in 16 to 18 years of age group and belonging to socially and economically disadvantaged group, financial assistance has been made available for the first time from this year to continue their education through open and distance learning mode. Okay, so this is, we can say, higher secondary school education. Then Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan scheme. So this scheme, this is important for prelims examination. This was launched by merger of three earlier schemes for school education. First, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, that was being implemented, and this was implementing RTE also, Right to Education Act, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Then there is second, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan for secondary school education and teachers education. They were earlier three different separate schemes, now they are merged under Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan scheme. Now this ensures the continuity and transition, the smooth transition of the children from preschool levels to the 12th standard. Okay, so this important paradigm shift in the conceptual design of school education by treating school holistically as continuum from preschool to the senior secondary level, that is 12th standard, right. It focuses on improving quality of education, this is also important, and how? By integrating two T's. What are these two T's? Teachers and technology. So here the focus is on digitization of education also under this scheme, and teachers education and training. It is implemented under Ministry of Education. Earlier it was called Ministry of HRD, Human Resource and Development. Yes, it is centrally sponsored scheme, not central sector scheme. Central sector scheme is completely financed by the central government, while centrally sponsored scheme is shared, the finances are shared between central and state government. So for those union territories without legislature, 100% finance is by central government. Fund sharing ratio is 60 as 40 for all other states and union territories with legislature. For northeastern states and Himalayan states, fund sharing is 90 as to 10. That is 90% by the central government, 10% by the state government. This is the financing mechanism under scheme. So yes, there can be question in prelims examination here. Bru refugee rehabilitation in Tripura hits green panel hurdle. Why it is in news? NGT, National Green Tribunal, has sought replies from Forest Department and District Administration in Tripura on a complaint that Bru refugees from adjoining Mizoram were being resettled in a forest. So that's why it was in news. Who are these Bru refugees? Earlier also many times we have discussed about Bru refugees in the Hindu analysis. Again we will have revision here. They are also called as Riang. So Riang, it is community indigenous to Northeast India, at present living in three different states, Tripura, Mizoram and Assam. Concentrated population earlier was in Mizoram, but there was, let's say, clashes, right. Following the ethnic clashes that happened in 1997, nearly 40,000 Brus fled Mizoram and were accommodated in relief camps in Tripura. Okay, in Tripura they are recognized as PVTG. Earlier we talked about this PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. At present there are 75 in number, spread over 18 states and 1 union territories, right. Then since 1997, after such ethnic clashes, 5,000 have returned to Mizoram in 8 phases of repatriation, while 35,000 still live in 6 relief camps in North Tripura. So there was quadripartite agreement in January 2020, which are the 4 parties here, right. So yes, the central government is one party, governments of Mizoram and Tripura 2 other parties, and leaders of Bru organizations, 4th party. They signed this quadripartite agreement for resettlement of these Bru refugees, 35,000 refugees in Tripura itself, and no repatriation to the Mizoram, right. And the rehabilitation package offered included financial assistance of rupees 4 lakh and land for constructing house for each family. This is how the rehabilitation of internal refugees, this is the example of internal refugees, okay, Bru refugees, that's why it is also called as Riang community, fine. So we can expect such question in prelims examination from geography, art and culture aspect, culture. So ethnic diversity of Northeast India very important for our examination. COVID-19 related development. Now G7 summit happened and the countries pledged 1 billion doses of vaccine for the world. So yes, yesterday we talked about US President commits 5 million doses. Now British Prime Minister also commits 100 million doses, and other countries of G7, they are going to contribute the remaining shots. Supreme Court asked Center how it intended to take food to crores of migrant laborers who have no ration card. Now we can understand that under National Food Security Act and at present Pradhan Mantri we can say Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Recently Prime Minister announced that up till Diwali time 80 crore people will receive 5 kgs of food grains free of cost under this National Food Security Act. So here the identification happens on the basis of ration cards. Now what happens to those who do not have ration card? How these people will be identified? They will be requiring these food grains. So especially migrant laborers, how they will be identified? So this is the question asked by the Supreme Court. We'll understand how Center will reply to this question in coming lectures. Now rejection by US Food and Drug Administration of emergency use application of Covaxin has no impact on policies in India. Niti Aayog member Dr. V.K. Paul said. Okay, so recently such emergency use was denied to Covaxin that was applied by the government, Bharat Biotech vaccine in collaboration with ICMR. Okay, let us solve these MCQs quickly. Okay, so just now we talked about Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. So it was launched by subsuming 3 different schemes. Yes. Now, no, this is incorrect here. It is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan actually. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Okay, so this should be the correct. Then Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, this is correct. Now Sakshar Bharat, this is incorrect. This is for adult education. This is for adult education. Those illiterate adult population, for their education, such Sakshar Bharat scheme was launched. And teacher education. So answer should be 1, 2 and 4. Please correct this one. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, it should be Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Fine? Okay. Yes, so these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. If you like this video, you can tell the feedback in the comment box. If you have doubt and question, you can ask in the comment box. We will have follow up in the coming lecture. For further information regarding the foundation batch for new year for 2022 UPSC examination, which is going to start this month end, for further information about that course, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.
Live online classes are as effective as offline classes. Ethics with S. Ansari remains the best ever choice. Do you know that ethics paper is the only paper in general studies that pays more with less efforts? One can easily secure 130 to 140 marks. Lukman IAS is a well-established name since 2014 for ethics paper. We offer 3 types of courses: Ethics Foundation course, Ethics Case Studies and Ethics Test Series. Since 2015, Lukman IAS students have maintained the records of securing the highest marks in this paper. Ethics Foundation course is starting from 21st of June 2021. Classes will be for 4 days in a week from 11 am to 1:30 pm. The course duration is of 60 days and the videos will be available for 75 days. There will be 43 classes, of which 35 classes will be focused on theory and concept building and 8 classes will be dedicated for case studies. There will be over 180 case studies and 3 tests. Since 4 months are left for prelims, one can easily finish the ethics paper before prelims itself, and it's a good opportunity. So why to wait? Contact us today for more information.